Alrighty, so let's call the regularly scheduled meeting of February 23rd of the Village of McBride to order. First item on the agenda is introductions of late items. So we have two late items. One is to rescind resolution number 222-14, the appointment of directors to the interim board of directors on the McBride Community Forest Corporation, and to reappoint. So that'll be under new business 9B. And the second addition to the agenda is the Lagoon Washout Financial Report by Kelly, and we'll move that to 5D as that was unfinished business that we were supposed to follow up on, so we'll move it to there.
Can I add a late item? Regional district representation discussion?
Actually, that one I'm still waiting for more information on that. I've been following up on that with the regional district itself, so I'd like to move that, table that one till the next council meeting.
Okay.
So, motion to approve the agenda as amended. Okay.
Okay. It has to do with item number, if I can find it, under 5C. At this point, council has approved by resolution 01516 that council appoint mayor and two councillors to attend the NCLGA. There's been no resolution as to who those two councillors are, therefore 5C is not worded correctly.
Actually, I believe we appointed Councillor Tracy and myself, leaving the third one open. And you and Councillor Reichardt had both indicated that you intend either way to attend NCLGA and to apply for the director at large positions, and whatever the decision was, the other one was willing to go at their own cost.
Okay, so just a point of order, the resolution, there has been no resolution at that point. The resolution was made to appoint two councillors and the mayor to attend. So I would suggest that motion, to be correct, should read that council designate Mayor Martin, Councillor Blank and Councillor Blank as funded delegates to represent the Village of McBride at 2016 NCLGA. Because I don't believe that we have actually, in our resolutions, determined any of the councillors who are attending. And I will provide that to administration.
Okay.
And I went through the previous notes. We had discussion.
Yes,
we had discussions, but
lots of
didn't apply.
discussion.
Lots of discussion,
okay.
but no resolution.
So, you want to give me the wording of that again?
Here it is, right here.
Okay, I'll just include that. So that would be 5C.
That's right.
Okay. And that will replace the resolution that we have there.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, fair enough. Alrighty. So, I move in a seconder on approving the agenda as amended. Moved by Councillor Tracy. Seconded by Councillor Bazanzin. All in favor? Carried. Next item on the agenda is the reading and the approving of the February 9th minutes. Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Tracy, seconder.
Second.
Councillor Reichardt. Any errors or omissions? No? Okay, hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. We have no petitions or delegations this evening. So we'll move on to unfinished business, the urban backyard chicken survey. So that's still being worked on?
Yeah, it'll go with utilities also.
Okay. Next one is a report on the unsuccessful applications to...
I'm so sorry, Mayor Martin. We've been asked
last meeting what we were going to do with the survey, the previous survey that we've done, that we got respondents to. I spoke, about it with Karen, and she thinks fairness would say that past survey, those numbers go away, and that this be the official survey,
So that we don't have duplications.
that we don't have duplications. Yeah.
Okay, so,
Okay.
okay. We'll move on then. On page 7, you have the reasons for why our gas tax fund and from strategic priorities fund was declined. Kelly, did you want to address that?
Yes, we spoke with Katrina Weedmark, and she's from the Ministry of Community Sport and Cultural Development. We had applied for $310,000 for the water intake, and $299,000 on behalf of the Robson Valley Mountain Bike Association. Katrina said that both our applications were very well done, that when they do the survey and they do the matrix, that we came up in the middle of the range. She did give us some hints that when we're looking at gas tax strategies and funding, it actually has to address environmental impacts, how it reduces emissions and fuels. We're working on that one for the water. And as she had pointed out, and the bike trail network, she said it scored very well on economic growth, but there had to be a lot more work around the planning, the asset management from the Mountain Bike Association's perspective, that they could strengthen their application by doing that. And they only approved 58 projects, and they received 222 applicants. So it's a very it's a tight race there, who gets the money. So we're going to use her suggestions, and we will be applying in the next intake.
Okay, so that's late 2016.
That's correct, yes.
Okay,
So
any
it's-
comments on council? Counselor Thompson?
So, with the mountain bike trail,
Yes?
when he said some work around planning,
Mm-hmm.
I'm concerned that there's an official trail plan that is very well detailed. You can't get much more detailed than, or was it more emphasis on how you manage that plan, the
Planning
management after?
and asset management after. So not the maps, not what they've suggested to going forward, but actually how they're going to realize all those goals and how they're going to manage that complete asset and keep it, keep it viable and well used and in good shape. She said the economic part of it was very well laid out, but that's where they needed to do a little more work.
So they want more stuff on the building, the actual building of the trails, how that's
Yeah.
gonna be done?
Yeah, and how it was
it's
gonna be managed.
after
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Kelly, do they contact and go through this with the bike club, or
No.
seeing as that's something
No,
I should,
they
so
won't.
I'll contact Ingrid then?
Yeah, I
Okay.
believe that our grant writer has already talked to her about
Okay.
it, yeah. But yes, please do follow up, yeah.
Okay, we'll do that. Okay, any other comments or questions on that one, council? Nope. All right, we'll move on to the next one, which is been replaced with this one. Oh, couldn't have you made that bigger, Rick? At this point, council has approved a resolution 1516, went mayor and councillors to the NCLGA. There has been no resolution. Sorry, appointment of 2 councillors to attend, so it indicates the same process. Where is your motion in here, Rick?
I think it's the bottom.
It is.
Okay, so the motion would then read that council designate Mayor Martin, Councillor Tracy was the other one, and third councillor as funded delegates to represent the village of McBride at the 2016 NCLGA annual meeting and convention. So while we were doing our discussions, we had decided, because Councillor Tracy and Councillor Bazanzin didn't want to go, either wanted to go to UBCM. You didn't want to drive to, because of your legs, to NCLGA. You wanted to attend NCLGA, so that left the 2 of you. I've got no comments or further comments from either of you as to which one was the one that wanted to go.
I did send an extensive email to all the mayor and council.
I think that was prior to it, was it not?
The letter still stands, so
Yeah,
it wouldn't change.
okay. And Councillor Thompson, do you have any other comments?
Well, yes, as I indicated in the motion there, that the decision to send Councillor Tracy with all due respect has not yet been finalized.
Mhm.
And I would suggest that since in this particular case, since two of us, both Councillor Reichert and myself, are seeking an executive position in NCLGA, that this council equally support both of our applications and endorse both Councillor Reichert and myself to attend NCLGA along with Mayor Martin for 2016. And those are my comments.
Pardon me?
I believe Mrs. Tracy was, but yeah, I had it, and I'm pretty sure I looked in there.
Okay, so, well, Councillor Tracy has decided, had decided not to go to UBCM, which left the doors open here, otherwise it would have been that one, so we had discussed that Councillor Tracy wanted to go. So I stand by that. As for the two of you, council had decided at the beginning, when we were first elected, that we would only send 3 representatives. Councillor Reichert went last time, so it would actually be Councillor Thompson's turn to go to NCLGA. So I'll appoint Councillor Thompson.
Oh, can I be removed and Sharon go?
Well, at some point in time, you guys have to go to conventions. I mean,
Oh,
that's
no,
part
we
and
will
parcel of being on
understand.
council.
Yeah.
But you're gonna withdraw your name this time? All right, then I will go with Councillor Tracy's suggestion and Councillor Thompson's suggestion and appoint both Councillor Reichert and Councillor Thompson. You want to change that?
Is there a resolution on that? There is resolutions for UBCM.
Yeah, we do need a resolution for UBCM to show support. Actually, I have our letter here.
No, but a resolution for that.
So just make this a
Oh,
resolution,
to
to make this a resolution instead of an appointment.
Okay.
Just
then I
for the
just have to-
future, our actual procedures talk about appointment of delegations, not through a resolution.
Yeah.
Our policy and procedure council.
Yeah, so I guess to get a resolution, then I need
Motion.
a mover
Mhm.
and a seconder.
So moved.
By Councillor Reichert, second.
I'll second.
Councillor Tracy. All in favor? Carried. There you go. For the record. All right, so next item on the agenda is the Lagoon washout financial report. You guys got a handout on it, so.
And I did put a couple of copies back there, if you see they're gone, so follow along. We, originally the proposal for our lagoon washout project coming in from the engineers was, I want to say $330,000. We had resolution from council that we could borrow up to $250,000 to do all the work. That would become the complete project. I'm hoping we won't have to borrow that amount. So what I can tell you is that in 2015, so remember this started back in October, so we had October, November, and December. The expenses attached to that project were $212,597.39. In 2016, the project wrapped up the second week of January, and all equipment, all our costly stuff was gone and out. The total expense was $72,869.01. And the total cost of the entire project was $285,000, $466.40. So under their estimate and over what we wanted it at, we would have liked to see it come in at $250. We had a lot of help and support with this. The Ministry of Transportation kindly let us get the quality rock that was needed to do a lot of the work there. They were very generous with that. We had local suppliers actually volunteer, so they were contracting to us, but they gave us reduced rates because they live here in the community too. the project has been very successfully completed. I'm very happy with it. I'm very, very happy that, except for 2 outside professionals, every single person that worked on that project was local, be that a labor and equipment hire. It was all locally sourced. As you can see, when they're being passed around, we were also very fortunate to be able to secure a lot of the materials with our local, our wonderful Robson Valley Home Hardware folks. And we did, of course, there were specialty items that had to come from out of town. The arch itself was a very specialized item. And some of the geotech type things, but we even managed to get the indigenous seed locally from a company in Dunster. So all in all, it was very successful. I would have a word of warning. If you enjoy a nice walk out there, that is like quicksand. It is, because the ground's of course all been disturbed. It's very wet, and it's probably really not at this time a good place to go for your walks or take your dogs until everything tightens up a bit. It is truly very, very soft out there. And you'll see it's all gated off. We can't have any equipment over it until everything settles in, of course. Our environmental reports have come back absolutely clear. We're in the good everywhere. So yeah, it was a successful project. It was stressful, certainly. I think we still have 1 outstanding invoice. That's why I want to say that we might see another $600 to $800 on here, because I'm aware of some stuff that I haven't seen the invoice on come across. But for the most part, all the invoices are in now. And I think what I'd like to just say is thank you to the local community for all your help and the wonderful work you did there. It absolutely couldn't have been done without the contractors, the folks that came out to do labor and shoveling, and ran pumps all night long to keep them from freezing. So yeah, it was a very successful project, and the community should be very proud of themselves for it.
Thank you, Carol.
Now, Kelly, are we applying for any kind of grant funding on that?
We are applying for PEP funding, which is the emergency. There are some challenges. We have been denied some funding because the cause of the washout was upon direction of an employee of the village. And so it has been deemed not a, it would have been different if the beavers had gone in there and kicked it out. But we had an employee make a decision and give direction to a contractor, that's why the washout occurred. So unfortunately, some of the things that we have sought support from that are available if it's a natural disaster, we've been declined for those.
Do we have any date in mind on that?
Oh no, now as soon as we get this I know there's an outstanding
I
invoice.
think there's a couple, because you just mentioned something and.
Yeah, so I'm aware of one, and Enid may have one in the back of her mind. It's not a huge cost on this that you'll see, but we cannot submit to PEP until it is absolutely complete. And when it's absolutely complete, there will be a binder on this project, and it'll be in my office. Anyone's welcome to come in, review the photos, or look at the history of how it went along. Any of the environmental reports are all available for anyone to, you're welcome to come in and have a read through it. So I hope to have that completed by end of month, maybe mid-March.
Okay, any other comments or questions, council? Okay. All right, so we'll move on to reports. Councillors, who wants to go first? All right,
Mine's the shortest one. I had some complaints about the underpass again, and it was bad. I looked underneath it, drove underneath it, there's a ton of potholes and no gravel or nothing. So I ended up going to the CN station, talking to Bob Elliott's, he's a signal maintainer there. He was out washing his truck, on the truck, and I asked him where the supervisors were, and I guess they were all down in Manitoba there giving me courses. So I said, is there anybody available to give direction, get somebody in there to fix that up? And he says, well, track supervisor, your assistant track supervisor is around. I said, well, can you give him a call and tell him that it's not our property, and it's your property, and I said to him, I said, they're not gonna come to the village, they'll be coming to you guys to get that fixed. Put the complaints into CN. So within 20 minutes, I was driving again, and he waved me on there, and the 12th of February, I think, was a Thursday, not a Friday. It was all done. They had gravel and everything there. Now I noticed that today it's not as bad, but because we had the wet weather and all that day, so it's a little bit better than it is. It's got to dry up.
Yeah.
I talked to the engineer down. I didn't talk to the engineer down. We're trying to get. I'll be phoning him all next 2 weeks steady. Maybe find out. I want to find out what his, if he got his budget to do that overpass. So I got to be on his butt because I'm pretty sure they got their budget all ready for this year. So that's December 31st. So they hopefully put some money in there for that underpass. And that's about it. The guys are doing great here, and we had really good weather, 5s, 4s, 6s. So all the maintenance work is done there. I think the other day they were just blowing the sand off the sidewalks, so, you know, but that's about it.
Okay.
Everything's good.
That's
But
good.
we got to get that, I'll be on that, we have to get that fixed, too.
Yeah,
We
don't
have to
give
be
up.
on that.
Keep on it, it's that time of year,
Well,
their
it's-
budget, so.
well, we are, and the frost is coming out, and I noticed that the whole, it's getting worse. It's just not the road, it's the sides.
Yeah.
So something's moving there, I don't know.
All right. Councilor Thompson,
Thank you. My report, February the 11th, council and myself and others met with Miles Bruns from Ministry of Jobs, Tourism, Skills Training regarding economic development opportunities for McBride and area. On February 12th and 13th, I had the opportunity to attend the Geo Industrial Park and Direct Heat Use Workshop in Valemount. The workshop was attended by 80 to 100 participants from Valemount, McBride, other areas of the Robson Valley, Banff, Calgary, Barrier, Goldstream, Kamloops, and we saw presentations from international organizations and individuals active in the production of geothermal energy and direct use for a variety of commercial, industrial, and community uses. A major component of that workshop was presented by Borealis Geopower, who's been working in the Valemount area for about 6 years. They expect to drill a test well this year, 2016, to conclude the feasibility portion of a plan to develop a 15 megawatt a 14.99999 megawatt geopower plant, has to be under 15, to fit in with the BC Hydro Standing Order Program to provide power to the grid. And if the plan is viable, additional opportunities will be offshoots in that use for the heat resource. I've included in my report the workshop agenda, a list of the participants, as well as a write-up from the Rocky Mountain Goat. I thought they were there through the whole weekend, and I didn't find that my writing would be any different than what they had presented. There may be opportunities for McBride in the area of geothermal. However, just like in Valemount, significant investment would be required to determine where the geothermal seam is under our rocks and whether it's in a position and hot enough to provide a gradient that could produce heat and electricity. February 16th, I met with Elaine Gillette, who invited me to meet Sandy, who's her replacement in the area of recreation, and had a chat with him about our offerings and opportunities in the Robson Valley. February 16th was a budget meeting attended by myself and other councillors to present the list of the line items. February 17th, we had a youth committee meeting where we discussed the No Snow Fest, and as you well know, our snow is not here, so neither is the Snow Fest. We're doing an event at the 521 Main Street on the non-instructional day inside with some mud hockey in the parking lot, I believe. No need to close the streets off. Thank you for staff for arranging that, but as I indicated, Kelly, we won't need it anymore. February 18th, I attended the approving officer information meeting. presented by Gord Simmons, covered off topics like Board of Variance, community plan, temporary use permits, all that stuff. Found it very informative, very useful. February 23rd, just before this meeting, we had a budget meeting. Other activities, I did the First Responders Appreciation Dinner. It was attended by over 100 community members. Nice to show support for our RCMP Fire Department ambulance and emergency services personnel. And I went over to the Diversity Fair today to see what was happening over there. There was a display by Robson Valley Support Services and some tables with information from 23 other support organizations, but only 2 people wandering around. So, not terrifically attended. Also, I've had meetings with residents over a variety of topics, budgets, fees, etc. And present that for inclusion. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Tracy.
Okay. On February 11th, met with Miles, and it was very informative and quite enjoyable. February 12th, I joined the Open Gate Garden, which I always enjoy, and I just want to say, don't forget CD Saturday, March the 5th. February 17th, I was in Prince George Union Bargaining. February 18th, I met with Gord Simmons, and that was really enlightening. February 18th, meeting with Carey Advisory Committee, which is moving really well. February 19th, we had an MCFC meeting. February 20th, I went to the potluck supper for the first responders, and as you said, Rick, it was a good turnout and great food.
Okay. Councillor Eckert.
My OBEC meeting was canceled this month, so I didn't attend there, but the 16th, we were budget meeting here in council chambers. The 17th, I was at committee of the whole meetings at regional district. We also did a hospital tour of Hospital Prince George for an hour and a half. Learned a lot, it was great, yeah. And then the 18th, at board meetings at regional district as well. The 19th, we had a meeting with MCFC. The 20th, I attended the potluck dinner for the first responders. It was great food and a great turnout. And that was it for me.
Okay. Last but not least, since our last council meeting, I met with several business people, members of the public regarding business ideas and opportunities in the valley and hearing concerns over community forest issues. On February 10th, I met with Mayor Townsend. It's been our first opportunity for the 2 of us to just sit down and catch up since the election. On February 11th, also met with Miles Burns from Ministry of Jobs, Tourism and Skills Training to discuss economic development. On February 16th, we all attended a budget meeting. On February 17th, I attended mediation in Prince George with the bargaining committee. On February 18th, we attended our session with approving officer Gord Simmons and the board variance members. Later that night, I attended the Avalanche Canada presentation with search and rescue members. On February 19th, I attended the community forest meeting, and then I attended the first responders appreciation dinner hosted by the Chamber and the Free Church on the 20th, and then our budget meeting tonight. And that's my report. So we'll go on to administration. You're next up.
I am, thank you. Our current work in progress, our main focus in administration has been on year-end wrap-up and preparing for the upcoming audit. Our auditors will be in town the week of April 4th with us. When we do our final reading of our fees and charges bylaw for 2016, from that we'll drive our utility bills going out to the community. Bylaws and policies that we've focused on specifically over this month have been the fees and charges bylaw. I continue to work with council. I got to participate when our approving officer Gord Simmons was here, and it was a really interesting, very informative session. I really enjoyed it. Again, ongoing consultation and assistance is required, doing various research and small reports as requested on behalf of the council or councillors. The budgeting process continues with our second public budget meeting, which was tonight at 6. assist the CFO as or when I can, as needed. We are preparing for the 2015 audit, and of course the auditors are requesting information, then we get back to them and have prepared for their visit here. The village staff all participated in our WIMUS 2015 training online, and it's changed significantly, so the recommendation is all work sites, everyone has to redo WIMUS. So we did it as a group and it went very well. And it also was one that was identified as quite important by our Workplace OSH committee because of the significant changes in it, which it's now gone global. So all the symbols and stuff are global, they're not specific to Canada anymore. Our Workplace OHS committee meets monthly. We act as a contact point for, if staff should see a health and safety concern, they bring it to us. And we're just working on reviewing and identifying OH policy to bring to the attention of the council. So to assist them with that as well. A liaison with our partners, building inspectors, folks that pop in to visit, it's all great. And our Christian Labour Association of Canada bargaining is proceeding. We are optimistic that we will reach agreement in the near future. And we attended bargaining in Prince George last week, which is why I wasn't with you guys for your last week's budget meeting. Thank you.
How long was your WIMUS good for? 2 years, 3 years?
WIMUS?
Yeah.
You're supposed to do that.
Of course you did.
You're supposed to do most of them every year now.
It's 1 year?
Every year, yeah. Just a refresher.
Okay.
So we'll have a finance reports after the budget is approved.
So, I mean, there's two things I can do. We can do the revenues and expense report as is, based on what we're projecting. If you want, you can just plunk those numbers in and you guys can see it, the revenue report as you've seen in the past. If you want, otherwise, yeah, you'd be waiting until you actually approve your budget in order to plug in those numbers, so it's kind of in here. I mean, we can leave it empty and just, you can see what we're spending as of now.
We should probably just go with that till we get the rest of it sorted out.
Okay, so we won't have an actual budget item, we'll just have actuals.
Actuals, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Alrighty, Public Works will be
March 8th.
March 8th, alright, so can I get a motion to receive the reports for information? Motion by Councillor Tracy, seconded by Councillor Reichardt. All in favor? Carried? Alright, so we have no correspondence requiring action, and we have several for information. So does anybody have any comments on the information stuff? Councillor Thompson?
I think you've already mentioned the grant for the airport, Kelly, is that the one that Minister Bond has highlighted?
No,
It's on
no,
page
actually,
14.
that's a different one.
Yeah.
14?
Yeah.
It is for.
So I have included them in your package. So there's a BC Air Access Program. But and yes, that is one, but that's not the one that Karen and Kelly and I are working on.
Okay,
That's a different one.
so is that one that?
It's a NAV Canada one.
Is this one that we should be
We have,
looking into?
yeah, we're looking at that for the small, like the, I guess, I want to say small, minor project as opposed to major project.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then also there's another one about bikes. Ministry of Transportation, healthy communities, active communities. I'm wondering whether it would be worthwhile to look at that in terms of trying to promote biking in town by perhaps getting some more bike stands. We've got 3 in the past, but it would be interesting to kind of create a network of biking that went around the community using that walking, the sidewalks with places to park your bikes and maybe a bench to sit on, kind of moving forward on the circuit around town.
Yep.
And I'm just wondering if that might fit, and if staff could look into
Absolutely,
that opportunity.
absolutely.
We were actually just turned down by them, by BC. We applied for a grant to try to link up to the to the bike trails?
Right, and that's why I didn't mention that, because going down the highway is not something that they're going to promote. That's why if we look at it as an around-town healthy living project, we may have much more success.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, they won't look at that, but that's the way it goes. All right, so staff will follow up on that one. Okay, any other comments on the information only section? No, all right. So moving on, we have a motion that council give the Village of McBride fees and charges bylaw number 762.2016 be considered and given its fourth and final reading.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Redcart. Seconder? Councillor Bezanson? Any comments or on that one? Councillor Thompson?
So, just for clarification, we had this was on a previous meeting and we had several discussions. And I went through to see if, were there any, from our discussions, were there any changes made to the initial first, second, third reading?
And there's some clarification.
I changed the language from the points we made at our last meeting, Councillor Thompson.
Okay. So I had some concerns that I still have. And I really want to make sure those are out there. Number one, I still have a concern with regard to the business license schedule. I believe that a business is a business is a business. And when we get into, and of course business licenses went up previously to from a square footage to a flat rate. And you know, I'm having difficulty with the definition of a minor home-based business versus a home-based business versus a business that pays fees and services on Main Street and employs people and keeps our community going. That's one of my concerns with the current bylaw. I also am still concerned with the water, sewer, and gas rates that are being proposed. The residential rates I know have gone down $50 in the water, up $50 in the sewer.
Thompson, you said water, sewer, gas.
Sorry, water, sewer, and garbage. WSG. Water, sewer, gas, garbage.
It's got gas.
It will turn to gas eventually. So water went down, sewer went up by the same amount, garbage stayed the same. Commercial rates, the water stayed the same. The sewer went up by $90 and the garbage went up by $63. And I'm just picking the basic commercial rates for an increase of $152. I believe that we're going down a path that is going to make it difficult for our businesses to come to this community, to stay in this community. I think we have we don't have any data to say that the businesses are producing more garbage. I don't believe. We don't have any data that says they're using more sewer. I know the staff has done a lot of research and pulled together a lot of different communities to put this together, and I appreciate that, but I think this is a business unfriendly bylaw, and I'm really not happy with the direction that it's going, and I will not be supporting these fees and services.
I think if you looked at other businesses and what in other communities, I think you'd find that we're pretty low.
Yeah. Maybe, but I would prefer, if I can respond, to see us looking at something that moves on a gradual basis rather than a major jump.
$60 a year isn't really.
$152.84.
$152.84 a year.
But it's, everyone has an opinion.
Okay,
My
one at a
opinion
time.
is that it's too much.
And we're insurance saying
One at a time here, so.
Looking at each department in its own entity is what you have to look at, and previous council has left us with a $90,000 debt in the sewer department. If you have another way to pay that sewer debt, that'd be really helpful, because we're still not gonna have enough money to pay off that debt with the fees that we're we're charging. We only collected $60,000 in sewer last year.
I appreciate that, and I think that this particular bylaw, if I could respond again, I think it needs more work. I don't think it's ready to be passed yet.
The only other comment I've had from a business owner is that we up $10 to the sewer to the residents.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is, we have to pay $90,000 for 4 years. Now, we have to generate some money, one way or the other. You know, debt is debt. And we have to pay it. We just put it on the burner and leave it alone, no.
Where else did you
Any
suggest
other
it comes
comments?
from?
I don't think we've had enough time to really examine this. We've had one shot for first, second, and third reading, and I've looked through it, and I tried to come up with a different, and I just don't feel comfortable myself passing this bylaw. I don't think we've had enough time to really examine it. That's my opinion.
But can you give them the rest of council, any insight to,
I would want more time to look.
but in what area do you wanna look? We're raising the fees more, we're raising the fees like less in
Well,
the
again,
fees?
it's kind of like that, the revenue side, the expenses side. You know, I don't know what the revenue being generated is going to be.
You have the revenue generated with the water and sewer in your whole budget package that you got last week for water and sewer.
I've got expenses.
You have revenues for water and sewer that you got last week.
Okay, I think that's correct. I stand corrected. There's a revenue sheet in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna say, I still think we need more time to examine this bylaw.
Okay, point taken. Any other comments?
Not about the water sewer garbage, but in Schedule K in the animal and livestock bylaw. I just have a question, because it doesn't, we've recently had an issue with the dog, and it doesn't indicate in there how long we actually out that dog for.
Oh, it's actually in the
Page
bylaw.
34.
So the fees don't tell it, but in the actual animal bylaw, it's 3 days.
So after 3 days, then what happens?
After 3 days, it goes to, it becomes property of the village.
Meaning, we own a dog?
Pretty much.
Share it.
And usually the person tries to find an owner for it if the residents won't claim it.
Speak up a bit. So it's 3
What you're
days.
saying is that
Sorry, you need to speak up and one at a time, please.
So is it 3 days then? 3 days is the maximum amount that we keep a stray dog?
I believe so.
There's a couple of local organizations that help home the dogs. If they are abandoned by an owner, they've been very successful. I know some of them even managed to rehome a lot of the dogs that have been part of that terrible, awful criminal thing out by Valemount. So we have, and our local hostel owner is incredibly generous with her time and the support she gives to homing dogs that have been abandoned. I know, not from being on council, but in other instances where we've had dogs dropped off, and she has a 100% success rate and is extremely generous with her time. We cannot keep them and look after them in public works for more than 3 days. It's not fair to the animal.
Right, that point.
And it's not, yeah. So at that point, they go to the local hostel, and then the process, she works with SPCA and rehoming groups.
Perfect, thank you.
So any other comments on the fees and charges bylaws? I'll call the question then. All in favor? Opposed? Councillor Thompson, would you like your negative vote recorded?
Yes, thank you.
Motion carries. So next item on the agenda is that the Village of McBride endorse a beer garden for the Veneer Kings Hockey Club As I work for the liquor distribution branch, I will claim a conflict of interest, and Councillor Thompson will take the chair while I leave.
Excuse me.
Okay, thank you. Moved,
No, yes.
question, moved by Rexer,
Yes, I have a question.
second,
I'll second.
seconded by Tracy. Discussion.
It says hours of operation 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., so it's only open for an hour?
No, 11 a.m.
12 p.m.
Yeah, which is
to,
1 hour.
Oh, yeah, I just typed right off their thing. I believe they probably meant 12
Okay.
midnight.
Okay. I would assume so.
Yeah, I just
Okay.
barely
Well,
typed
you're
off
getting
the
an hour, but-
application there, yeah.
Point well noted, so shall we amend the motion to read midnight? Everybody okay with that? Okay, so the motion is that the Village of McBride endorsed beer garden for the Veneer Kings Hockey Club tournament beer garden to be held at the west end stands of the McBride Arena on March 25th, 26th, and 27th, so that's from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. or 12 midnight each day.
Yes.
Okay, so we're not starting at 11 o'clock on the 25th and running to the, okay, just clarification, so it's on
maybe
each
that's what they
day.
wanted.
Any further discussion or questions on the motion?
No.
A quick question, do we have any money?
What kind of money?
No,
Oh.
they're on their own.
They're on their own?
Yeah.
Oh, good, okay, just checking.
Oh, I see what you mean, yeah, no, that's them.
Okay, okay, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moment.
We didn't adjust the chair.
Oh, you did. You did.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it's one's up and down.
All right, so next item on the agenda is rescinding the council resolution 222/14 and reappointing. So what we found out is that when I originally appointed to the McBride Community Forest Board, I had made two things. One was a mayoral appointment, and the second was to change the number of directors on the board from 4 to 5. Unfortunately, the resolution was recorded as that the council of the Village of McBride be appointed as the interim board of directors of the McBride Community Forest. So in order to straighten this up, what I need to do is to rescind that appointment and to reappoint. So I need a mover and a seconder on rescinding resolution 22214.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Reichart, seconded by Councillor Bezanson.
And what was that, how was that resolution worded?
The resolution was worded, and there were actually two things. One is I did my mayoral appointments, and appointed the then members of council as the interim board of the McBride Community Forest. And then the second one was to change the number of directors from 4 to 5. And it wasn't recorded properly, and it wasn't signed off on properly, so we have to redo that. So any other questions on rescinding that? No?
And the purpose of rescinding is to,
Correct it.
okay.
So, call the question then, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Next item on the agenda is the, hang on a sec here, my paper. What did I do with that? There it is. Right at the front. The second thing that, I don't think I need a resolution on this in the Councillor Bezanson thing.
No, but Councilor
accept that?
Bezanson has a, yeah.
Okay, so I just have to state it then for purposes. We had, at our last community forest meeting, Councillor Bezanson had decided to resign his position on the board of directors with the McBride Community Forest, and the board accepted his resignation. Thank you for for all your assistance there. Ralph, you were great. Councillor Bezanson wants to ensure that the corporation moves forward by appointing people that have the knowledge and the ability to move the corporation forward. And given what we've seen, that I have to reappoint properly and after due consideration and legal advice, I appoint Mayor Martin, Councillor Reichart, Councillor Tracy to the Community Forest Board. We've also had 2 members of the public step forward to take the 2 seats at large, Joseph Rich and Randy McFarland, as interim board of directors of the McBride Community Forest. Now, do I need to move in a second around that, Kelly, or is that good like that? Sorry?
And by interim, is there a timetable on that? Mayor Martin?
We've been shooting for the AGM, but we have a list of things we have to do in order for that to happen. And we'll know more once we get the auditors in here. So that will be our new Community Forest Board. Next item on the agenda.
So, point of order,
Yes,
it's a
Councillor Thompson?
resolution.
No, it's an appointment.
Okay.
Next item on the agenda is a motion that in accordance with section 91C Labor Relations of the Community Charter and other employee relations to go in camera.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Reichart, seconder. Councillor Bezanson. All in favor? Carried.